I sat on an executive committee at my university this week. I remember that committee. We had a young lady, freshman. She made a bad mistake. In the early weeks of school, we all been in school a couple of weeks. But we knew that her whole future was ahead of her. And my colleagues and I knew that we needed to deal, and she needed to deal, no cheap grace, with the mistake that she made. But our job was not to come down hard on her, but to give her a vision of what her future could be and what God could help her future to be. And it turned out to be a beautiful and a sacred moment. Listen to this great verse in the Bible in Philippians. Have this mind among yourselves as was in Christ Jesus. Though He was in the form of God, He did not think equality, being equal with God, was something to be grasped or held on to. Instead, He emptied Himself and came to earth as a servant and as a person to be. I love the way the New English Translation states this verse. Here's what it says. Precisely because He was God, Jesus became a servant. Becoming a servant wasn't something He just attached onto His life. It's because He was God. He was a servant. Have this mind among you does not mean you have the same intellect as Christ. It means you have the same attitude that He did. Caring for the poor. Caring for children. Caring for youth who need tutoring and who need help. And here is this principle I want to lift up to you tonight, as I've already said. The way to go up is to go down. The way to walk close with God is to go down. The way to walk with Jesus is to help His children. And that's what you are all about here. My wife, Gail, is an English as a second language teacher in her school for 24 years now, primarily to Hispanic children, but also to many other children. We have a tradition that just before school starts every year, we go to buy, just the two of us, buy boxes of pencils. And I go up and we give out the little boxes of pencils, not much, to all the little Hispanic children, the children that are there. I'm always thrilled how thankful they are. Oh, I walk around with a title, Dean of Divinity School. But let me tell you something. When those little children come up and grab me around the legs and say thank you, that's my best moment right there. I'll tell you what. The way to go up is to go down. That's what Jesus illustrated to us. And that's what you have here in this program. This is our text tonight, read moments ago. Jesus Himself drew this beautiful portrait in Mark chapter 9. You read Mark chapter 9 and Jesus has just announced to the disciples He's going to Jerusalem to die. The disciples don't understand this announcement, but they do understand one thing. That is, they want to be great in the kingdom of heaven. Which one of us was going to sit on the right and which one on the left? Can you imagine what Jesus must have felt? Did you hear what I said? I'm going to Jerusalem to die. You see, they were on this upward mobility track, climbing the ladder of success, and Jesus said, I want you off that track and on the ministry track. I want you off that one and on this one. And then He took a child. And He's put that child down in the midst of them. And if I haven't misread a lot of that passage, Jesus hugged that child. Put that child in the midst and said to them, you're thinking about power. I want you to think about ministry. You're thinking about climbing the ladder of success. I want you to think about the needs of these children. And this is the kingdom of heaven, just like He's living with children. So folks, let this picture in the Bible speak to you tonight. In the midst of dark, heavy discussion about His impending death, Jesus dropped everything to hold a little child in His lap. Now I know you're busy. And your schedules are full. But Reverend Brown and others have laid out a big vision here about helping these young people.